What if your daily habits could actually leave a signature in your blood? A signal that someone could detect, and that could hint at your risk for one of the world's most common cancers. Well, today we're going to look at a pretty groundbreaking study that does just that. It connects our lifestyle choices directly to a biological warning sign for colorectal cancer.
So, to really get why this matters, you have to understand the scale of the problem. Globally, we're talking about more than 1.9 million new cases of colorectal cancer every single year. It's a huge public health issue. And just so we're all on the same page, what exactly is it? Well, colorectal cancer, or CRC, is a cancer that gets its start in the large intestine. It usually begins as these tiny little growths called polyps. Now, they aren't cancerous at first, but over time they can change and become malignant tumors.
Look, screenings like colonoscopies are absolutely vital, but let's be honest, it can be invasive, and that has researchers on the hunt for simpler, easier tools. Which brings us right to the big question behind this study. Could a simple blood test give us some kind of early warning?
And it turns out there just might be. There's a specific protein that can act like a biological smoke alarm, a clue that's hidden right there in our bloodstream.
And that clue has a name, Carcinoembryonic Antigen, or CEA for short. The best way to think about it is as a biomarker. When you're healthy, the levels of this protein are usually pretty low. But with certain cancers, including colorectal, those levels can start to climb, basically sending up a potential red flag.
So how's this supposed to work? Well, in a healthy colon, CEA is kind of like a cellular glue. It helps all the cells stick together properly. If a cell breaks loose, there's this built-in safety switch called anacosis that tells it to self-destruct. It's a brilliant system, really. But here's the problem. In cancer, that safety mechanism can fail, and that allows rogue cells to survive and even spread.
Now, scientists have known about CEA for a while, but, and this is a big but, its levels had never been properly studied in the Indian population. This was a huge blind spot, a real gap in what we knew about the disease globally.
And that is exactly where this new research comes in. It's a first-of-its-kind study designed to fill that exact knowledge gap, focusing on a population in South India.
The way they set it up was really straightforward. The researchers got two groups of people together, 65 men who had been diagnosed with colorectal cancer and another 65 healthy men of a similar age to act as a control group. Then, they took blood samples from everybody and measured the levels of that key protein, CEA.
And when they compared those blood samples, well, the difference they found wasn't just significant, it was honestly pretty dramatic.
Okay, check this out. The results were just crystal clear. The healthy group had an average CEA level of about 2.83, but in the cancer patients, that number just skyrocketed to 9.30. I mean, the difference is just so stark, you can't miss it.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. The people with colorectal cancer had, on average, more than 3 times the amount of this warning signal floating around in their blood compared to the healthy folks. That's a massive difference.
So, seeing a high signal is one thing, but the next logical question is, why? What's causing it? To figure that out, the researchers dug a little deeper and started looking at the lifestyle habits of everyone in the study.
And yep, they found a connection, a really powerful one. For the smokers in the study, their calculated risk of developing colorectal cancer was 5.8 times higher than for the non-smokers.
And for alcohol, the link was even stronger. The risk was a staggering 6.3 times higher. The data really points a finger at these habits as major factors in the disease itself.
And this, right here, is where it all comes together so clearly. It's not just that these habits increase your overall risk, they seem to be directly tied to the biomarker itself. So among smokers, the healthy guys had a low CEA level of 2.0, but the smokers with cancer, their level was way up at 9.42. You see the exact same pattern with alcohol. It's like these habits are pouring fuel on the fire and amplifying that biological warning signal.
Okay, so what do we do with all this information? What are the real-world takeaways from these findings? Let's break it down.
So what's the bottom line? Well, this research really nails two crucial things. First, it confirms that this blood marker, CEA, is a legitimate warning signal in a population where it was basically just a question mark before. But maybe even more importantly, it draws a direct, measurable line from specific habits, smoking, drinking, right to the elevated levels of that very signal. It just really underscores the power of our lifestyle choices, and it also shows why doing this kind of research in specific populations is so incredibly important.
I mean, the researcher's own conclusion says it all, right?
They said that these habits aren't just raising your odds of getting sick, they are actively contributing to the very biological markers that we see with the disease. It doesn't get much more direct than that.
And that really leaves us with one final, unavoidable question. This study shows that our day-to-day decisions can leave a real, tangible, biological fingerprint. It's a pretty powerful reminder that the story of our health is literally being written by the choices we make every single day. So what story is yours telling?